Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming on such short notice. My understanding is that Governor Christie from New Jersey is making an announcement today, so I'd like to beat him to the punch. No, we tried that once, didn't work out so well. But before we get started, I want to make sure we all know who's in attendance up here today. Mayor Pro Tem, soon-to-be Mayor Bob Vandevasi, members of the City Council, Councilmember Jay Peters, Mike Trethui, the City Manager Ryan Cotton, Councilmember Wayne Klomparns, Councilmember Todd Whiteman, as well as Councilmember Dave Hoekstra. Councilmembers Brian Birch and Nancy DeBoer could not be with us today, but they certainly are here in spirit as well. Well, for more than 20 years, there's been kind of one vexing problem that has persisted, and that is what to do with this building, this iconic building in the city of Holland, a building that has seen so many wonderful events throughout its 60-plus years of history. And today, we are here after seemingly endless amounts of study and endless amounts of discussion and zigs and zags and U-turns and all sorts of experiences throughout the road of getting us to this point to announce that we believe that we have a design that is still in concept form but puts us on the path to figuring out what to do with this building and what to do with this property, not just for today, but for the next 60 years as well. One of the things that we have experienced in this great community is tremendous investment in our downtown area. As we stand here today, there's more than $200 million of new investment happening in downtown Holland. This project is estimated to be around $11 million of additional investment. It will transform this facility, remodel it, restore it, but make it functional into the future. So it will include things like air conditioning, for example. So on a day like today, you might have a better sense. Yeah, the applause is palpable. It will include new facilities that one would expect from a modern facility. It will, in large measure, look and feel similar, except look and feel so much better because it will not have the tired feel of a 60-year-old building. The bones of this structure are incredibly solid and incredibly good. But as you look around, as you see the space, you understand that it has served us well for 60 years, but it's time to be refreshed in substantial ways. So we're excited about that. The other thing that we want to accomplish with this project is not merely related to the building itself, as important as that is, but it is to look at the entire site on which this building sits. As I mentioned a moment ago, we have tremendous development and activity happening in downtown Holland, and that development in part is heading toward the westerly edge of downtown, toward our waterfront at Lake Makatawa. There have been some big impediments to that continued movement toward our waterfront, and this block has been a substantial impediment. On a day like today, as you look into the parking lot, you see vehicles here, surely, but you see a lot of empty spaces. On days where there's a farmer's market here, it is a wonderful, bustling place that adds to the vibrancy of our community, but that happens only twice a day for 6 months out of the year. Our goal and our hope with what we're talking about today is to add the same kind of vibrancy year-round, every day. And at the same time, to make the farmer's market, which is wildly successful, even better than what it is at this point. I want to make one sort of further announcement before we start looking at a few conceptual renderings, and that is this. Those of you who perhaps have asked me questions about the Civic Center over the course of the past decade, or have read things that I've said about the Civic Center, certainly might wonder, why is it that we're looking at this facility in this location today? Why did we settle on what we're doing today? I've told many people that if the answer to the Civic had been easy, it would have been done a long time ago. But after the failure of the Area Center to happen, after the building of the DeVos Fieldhouse at Hope College, after the new Jack Miller Musical Center at Hope College, the use and the purpose of this facility has always been a bit of a struggle. It gets used incredibly often in incredibly exciting ways and good ways for the benefit of this community, but in ways that are different from which it was initially intended. Well, throughout those discussions that have happened, I think, around living rooms and tables throughout this community as well as in the media, a person called me about 6 weeks to 2 months ago. Someone out of the blue called my office and asked me to come to his or her house. And the person said, you're going to want to take this call and take this visit. And so I did. And the city manager and I were pleased to learn that this person wanted to make a $2 million contribution to the Civic Center project. That was a catalyst to what we're doing and talking about here today. It gave us renewed energy, renewed focus to focus on this building and this site for the benefit of the community for decades to come. So taking that wonderful and greatly generous donation, we began quickly reassembling a team of community leaders and city council members to think through the potential options for what could happen on this site with this facility. And that's how we got here today. The donor is incredibly generous, obviously. The donor wishes to remain anonymous. The donor, however, would like the facility renamed in honor of the donor's parents. So there will be an announcement coming in future weeks and months about the exact naming of the facility, but know that in the future it will be a named Civic Center. So we're very excited, very thrilled about it, and we think there's opportunity and interest in this community for continued private investment into this wonderful public structure. We know in Holland we have a tremendous ability to work together, private sector and public sector, and I think that this is going to be the next and perhaps one of the finest examples of how that can happen. Well, let me show you a bit of what the facility might look like. And this is certainly subject to further discussion as well as input by various members of the community, but this gets the ball rolling and gives you an idea of the kind of things that we are talking about. First, I wanted to note that where we stand here today is a strategic location in the western part of our downtown area. I mentioned that a moment ago. We're 2 blocks from Lake Makatawa. And with this project and other projects that have been discussed publicly, and I think more detail will be forthcoming in the future, we will see a dramatic opportunity to move downtown Holland and the activity of downtown further toward our waterfront, which is truly a transformative experience for this community, both from an economic development standpoint, from a residential enjoyment standpoint, and from a tourism standpoint. So this is a strategic location that we want to be sure to get right. Not merely so we can get it done, but so that we can get it right for future generations. So here is the idea of the potential of what this site could look like. You see in this rendering a new 2-story glass atrium. Some of the initial impression of stepping into the building could go away and be replaced with something modern, sleek, light and airy, as well as it further cements the relationship of this building not just to the area to the east of us, but to 8th Street. So the primal entrance, as it is described in this rendering, primary entrance, is on the corner of the northeast side of the building, which fronts both the parking area as well as the 8th Street area, which of course is the site for our magnificent farmers market. You'll note that you see some different looks for this current parking lot. I like to shorthandedly refer to this as from parking lot to park. And that, I think, will really transform how the site is used and the centrality of this location into our downtown community. You'll note that there's a lot of green. Placemaking is a big part of sort of the lexicon of urban development these days, but I think we were concerned about and thinking about placemaking long before it became a buzzword. But this is a further cementing of how we think about place in this space and how we think about space in this place. There is some water there, and what that exactly looks like, how it exactly functions, I think is open for some discussion, but the hope is that during the summertime and warm months, we have the opportunity for splashing activities. A wonderful spot for families to recreate, wonderful spot for children to splash around, and that is an exciting part of what can be offered in our community in this new park. Additionally, there are plans, assuming all the funding works out, to put refrigeration underneath that summertime splash area, so that in the wintertime, the water turns to ice. And for the first time in the city of Holland, we have an outdoor refrigerated skating facility, which has been a long-time goal for this community, and I think we are on the cusp of seeing that happen, and we're so excited to see that take place. There's the potential for additional band shell and kind of entertainment venues, potential playground areas or sculpture parks for children to walk around in and play in, and really just a wonderful spot that is pedestrian friendly as you make your way from downtown to the waterfront or from the waterfront to downtown. So it is a pretty exciting idea, and we look forward to having more discussion with the community about what exactly it should look like and feel like. Here's more of a site plan idea, and it's, again, conceptual in nature, but you do get a sense of some of the key elements that we think will make this facility and this site really form a central gathering place for the greater community for generations to come. So, as many of you know, this is in the last less than 12 hours of office. So while we've worked hard to date on getting to where we are today, I'll be handing it off. Well, not that I was handling it all in the first place, but the council, under the leadership of soon-to-be Mayor Bob Vandevussy, will be the person and the team that really shepherds this project forward to really engage the public, take the best ideas, form a plan that works, that's feasible, and that can get done in relatively short order. So with that, I would like to turn the microphone and the podium over to the future mayor, Bob Vandevussy. Bob.
Thank you, Kurt. Some guys just like to make a mess and then walk away from it and expect somebody else to clean it up. But no, in all seriousness, this is just a tremendous opportunity for the city of Holland. We're on the top step of a long attempt at making this iconic historic structure that has meant so much to so many of the people of Holland. I mean, all sorts of events that have happened here in the past. I think myself and several of us had our high school graduations here, watched lots of basketball here, and it's been a great service to the city of Holland, but it's time for something different. And it's time for it to be in the 21st century. And we certainly owe a great debt of gratitude to Kurt in all of his background work in getting this done, and there's a lot to be done yet in the way of public and private partnerships. We've talked about what's going to happen on this site, but we know from little mini announcements that have been made in the past few weeks that there are great things that are on the jumping off point just to the east of us here, and we're looking forward to that with great anticipation as well, and hoping for an announcement on that very soon. So a great opportunity for us to move the excitement, the dynamic nature of our downtown further to the west, and be a real community gathering space for 4 seasons of the year and just do great things. So stay tuned. Good things come to those who wait.